Hi there, this is Mr. Brick, your online IELTS coach, and in this video we will look at some of the best ways to improve your reading skills for the IELTS reading exam. So let's begin. Now, if we want to improve our reading score in the IELTS exam, we must first understand a few key points about the reading section of the exam. So first of all, the reading section of the exam lasts for 60 minutes. In those 60 minutes, you will be expected to answer 40 questions, and those 40 questions are based on 3 long texts which you will have to read in this part of the exam. Now, let's look at some of the best tips that will help us improve our reading score. Now, one of the best ways to improve our reading score is to manage our time effectively, and this is how that should be done. So you will be given 60 minutes to complete the reading exam, and in the reading exam there are 3 different sections. So that averages out to 20 minutes per section. However, each section gets more and more difficult. That means that you should not spend 20 minutes on each section, but rather this is how you should structure your time. For the first section of the reading exam, you should spend 15 minutes. The second part of the reading exam, you should spend 18 minutes. And the final part of the exam, because it's the most difficult, you should spend the most amount of time here. That means you should spend 22 minutes on part 3 of the reading exam. Altogether, that totals up to 55 minutes. Now, the remaining 5 minutes you should spend at the end of your exam to go back and double check all your answers, and to also check if there are any gaps that you have left out. Now, the next tip is to read the question before you read the text. So from my teaching experience, I've noticed that many students read the text first and then go back to the questions and answer the questions. But here's the problem with reading the text first. If you, for example, read the whole of text 1 and then you go to the question sections and read question 1, you will forget where to find this answer. That means that you will have to go back to the text and read the text again, which means that the first time you read the text was actually a waste of time. So the best thing to do is always read the question first and then go to the text and find the answer. That way you are not wasting any time. For example, read question 1, then find the answer. Read question 2 and then find the answer. Also, a key piece of information to remember is that all the questions are in order. So, for instance, question 1 to 5 can be found towards the top of the text, whereas question 35 to 40 can be found towards the end of the text. Does that make sense? Okay, so another way to improve our reading score is to read texts that are similar to those that will come up in our reading exam. So what type of text will you see in your reading exam? Well, in the academic exam, you will read texts that are academic. For instance, you might read a journal article or a magazine article or even a newspaper article. So therefore, if you want to practice, get into the habit of reading these type of texts. Now, if you don't know where to find journal articles or newspaper articles to practice from, I will leave some links in the description below. So make sure you check them out, and I think all of those links are free. Another type of text that you can read that will help you with your reading score is to read the text in previous exam papers. So for instance, you can go online and search for past paper IELTS exams, and you can just look at what text came up on those exams. Then you can just practice reading those texts. Again, I will leave these in the description below. Now, what you don't want to do is read text that will not benefit you with your score. So for example, you should not be reading stories or poems. I mean, you can read these, but don't think that reading stories or poems will help you improve your reading score. The best way to improve your reading score is to read texts that are similar to the ones that will come up in the exam. Okay, so another way to improve your IELTS score is to practice under exam conditions. Now for this, you only need 2 things: past paper exams, and a clock. Now there are some great websites that you can use to access past paper exams. For example, the British Council website, IDP, and also IELTS online test. So again, I will leave these in the description below. Make sure you check these links out. Remember, if there's any tip that I will pick out of all of these tips, it will be this one. Also, if there are any websites that you've used that's helped you, make sure you leave those in the comment section below so other people from our IELTS community can benefit too. Now, another way to improve our reading score is to highlight key information. Now, this can be done in two ways. First, you can highlight information from the text, and secondly, you can highlight information from the questions. Both are done in two completely separate ways. So, when you are highlighting information from the text, what you should be highlighting is key information. Now, what does key information mean? Key information is any information that you think is important. For example, it could be a name of a person, a name of a place, or any other bits of information that you think is important. The more you practice this tip, the better you will get at it. Now, when you are highlighting things from the question, you should be highlighting one of two different things. Firstly, again, any key bits of information. For example, some questions might ask you to write no more than 3 words. In that case, the important information is no more than 3 words. And the second type of information that you should highlight is any question that you do not know the answer to and you are going to leave blank. Because in the final 5 minutes of the exam, you can go back to the start of the questions, and there it will be easy for you to see which questions you've missed out, because all these questions will be highlighted. This will save you a lot of time. Now, another way to improve our IELTS score is, and I briefly mentioned this in the last tip, and that is to read the instructions carefully. So just as I've mentioned before, some questions will ask you to write no more than 3 words. It's very important for you to double read the question so you know exactly what the question is asking you to do. It's very common for students to read these questions and just think, oh, 3 words, so they'll have to write 3 or more words. No, if a question is asking you to write no more than 3 words, that means that you can write 1 word, you can write 2 words, you can still write 3 words, but you cannot write more than 3 words. If you do write more than 3 words, the answer will be marked as incorrect. Now, another way to improve our IELTS score, and this one's my favorite because it's very fun, and that is to read out loud. Now, how will reading out loud help you improve your reading score? Well, firstly, it will help you build up your confidence. Secondly, it will actually help you improve your reading skills. And finally, it will get you into the habit of practicing more frequently, because by doing this, it just makes your revision time more fun. Also, if you want to take advantage of this tip and take it to the next level, what you can do is record your own voice whilst you are reading out loud. Now, the benefit of this is that you can accurately measure how much you've improved by seeing how fast you read the text. So, for example, if the first time you read the text, it takes you 6 minutes and 30 seconds. If you keep that number in mind and then record yourself reading the text again and again and again, and at the 4th or 5th attempt, you will notice that your duration of reading, the time scale, would have reduced. So you can see that the first time took 6 minutes and 30 seconds, and then on the 4th or 5th time, it might take you only 5 minutes. And that will show you that your reading skills have improved. Now, are there any tips that you've used that have helped you in the past? If there are, leave them in the comment section below so other people can benefit too. Also, that brings us to the end of this video. I will leave the next video on the screen here. But before you click that, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time a video goes live. And I will see you on the other side. Bye bye.